Dear grade 12 students, welcome to a new English session which will be devoted to practice writing. So please get your student's book and open it on page 27. Today's lesson has 3 learning objectives. You will be able firstly to analyze a text to identify the stages of a scientific method process. Secondly, select the 6 features that apply to describing a process. And finally, to compose a piece of writing describing a process using the features given in the activity. As you can see, you have an image displayed before your eyes. Please pause this video here and try to guess what it represents. Great! So this image is a diagram. Do you know what a diagram is? Well, it's a graphic design or drawing that shows arrangement and relations of parts. Good. Now, can you tell me what this diagram shows? Excellent. It shows the stages involved in a scientific method. Can you tell me what scientific method means? Well, it means the process of testing theories using experiments in a systematic way. Now, let's begin with the first objective. We will focus on exercise B, page 27. Your task is to examine the diagram we have seen previously and a written description of this diagram and underline the words and phrases that appear in the diagram and the description together. After that, you will answer 2 questions about the written description of the process. So, please pause this video here. Read the description of the process of a scientific method and look at the diagram, then underline the words and phrases which have been used by both. Great! Let's see the answers. So first we have a scientific method that appears in the diagram and the written description. Good. Then asking a scientific question. After that, you find the information gathered and create a hypothesis. Good job. Now, I want you to take a few seconds to think of the following question. What does the writer use to make his transition between the stages clear and smooth? Well done! He uses linking words or linking phrases. Okay, now can you see any of these in the description? Excellent! First, next, and then. Great! So, we carry on with the same task. We have also an experiment is designed and carried out. It also appears in the diagram and the description. Then the results are observed. Next comes revise the hypothesis. After that we have the data collected and analyzed. Then repeated to confirm. And finally conclusions are drawn and the results are reported. Very good. Now what about the linking words? Can you spot any of them? Very good. You have at this point and finally. Good. Now you will focus on the description only and answer these two questions. Question number 1. What do you notice about how the writer uses the information? And question number 2. How is the writer's description of the process different from the diagram? So please pause this video here and provide the answers. Well done. Let's see the answers. So we notice that the writer mentions all the stages. He takes vocabulary from the diagram and he rephrases and elaborates on some words and phrases. As for the second question, we notice that the writer uses full sentences in his description, but words and phrases are used in the diagram. Then the writer uses linking words and phrases, whereas images and arrows are used in the diagram. Finally, the writer elaborates and rephrases, which means he provides further explanations when needed. Now we move to the second objective. We will focus on exercise C. You will examine the written description again and select 6 features that apply to it from the checklist that is displayed before your eyes. So please pause this video here and tick the suitable features. Well done. Let's see the correction. So the first feature that applies to our description is that it uses a variety of linking words. And we have seen this in the first objective. The next one is that the writer follows the progression of the diagram, which means here keeps the same order of the stages. Next, the writer uses vocabulary given in the diagram, and we have seen this also in the first objective. The fourth feature is that the writer paraphrases some words and provides elaboration. And the last feature is that he uses impersonal language. Impersonal language here means that he uses the passive voice, which means that in some sentences he doesn't start with the agent or the pronoun. Now for our last objective, we will practice writing a description of a diagram. So as you can see in your student's book, Activity D, you have a diagram that shows the process of learning. So your task is to write a paragraph to describe this process. You can follow the model of Activity B. Besides, this video will guide you to write this paragraph step by step. But before you start writing, let's summarize together some important tips that you need when you describe a process. First, make sure you use formal language. For example, use full verb forms. Then also try to use vocabulary taken from the diagram itself. Then, when you are writing a description, try to rephrase some words or elaborate on others if you see that you need to provide further explanation. Also, make sure you use linking words and phrases to make your writing move slowly, smoothly, and clearly. Then it's important also to follow the progression of the diagram, which means you need to keep the same order of stages. And at the end, try to make sure to use the present simple tense and the passive voice as possible. Before we start writing, please make sure you have a notebook to write your sentences. Now, in this activity, you will expand the notes into full sentences, which means you are going to use these notes to make full sentences using correct structures and correct linking words. So, let's get started. The first notes you have are show, different steps, and learning process. So please pause this video here and write your sentence. Very good. Let's see the answers. You can write, the diagram shows the different steps involved in the learning process. I shall remind you here that the sentences shown in this video are just a suggestion or an example that will help you understand how to build the sentence. Which means, if you have written any sentence similar in terms of meaning to the ones presented in this video, please consider them as correct. And this is going to be true for all the coming slides. So we continue with the same task. Now you have the following notes: input, images, sounds, smells, tastes, feelings; receive, the environment, senses. So please pause this video here and write your sentence. Very good. Now you can write first the input, which comes in the form of images, sounds, smells, tastes, and feelings, is received from the environment by the senses. Now use the following notes: brain, process, identify it, make sense of it. So pause this video here and write your sentence. Very good. Let's see the example. You can write, then the received information is processed by the brain, which identifies it or makes sense of it. For the next sentence in your description, you will use information attended, stored, short-term memory, attention not paid, lost from memory. So please pause this video here and write the answer. Well done. Let's see what we will have as an answer. You can write, if the information is attended to, it is stored for a short period of time in short-term memory. However, if no attention is paid to it, it is lost from the memory. Good. So for the next stage of your writing, you will use the following notes: information, short-term memory, remembered, long time, is rehearsed, when make effort, learn something, stored, long-term memory. As you can see here, the amount of notes you have here may require you to write 2 sentences and not only 1. So please pause this video here and write your answer. Very good. So I suggest that you write information that is stored in short-term memory may be remembered for a long period of time if it is rehearsed. This is because when we make an effort to learn something, the information is stored in long-term memory. Good. Now, to conclude your description, we suggest that you use the following notes: clear, effort, revision, practice, ability, remember information. So please, again, pause this video here and write a suitable answer. Excellent. Let's see the suggested answer. You can write, to conclude, it is clear that effort, revision, and practice play a very important role in our ability to remember information. Very good. So, by the end of this practice phase, you should have the following paragraph or a similar one. Let's read through it. The diagram shows the different steps involved in the learning process. First, the input, which comes in the form of images, sounds, smells, tastes, and feelings, is received from the environment by the senses. Then the received information is processed by the brain, which identifies it or makes sense of it. If the information is attended to, it is stored for a short period of time in short-term memory. However, if no attention is paid to it, it is lost from memory. Information that is stored in short-term memory may be remembered for a long period of time if it is rehearsed. This is because when we make an effort to learn something, the information is stored in long-term memory. To conclude, it is clear that effort, revision, and practice play a very important role in our ability to remember information. So, by the end of this video, I think now you are able to write a description of a process using appropriate language, style, and features. This is the end of today's video. Thank you very much for being attentive, and remember that this video will be available on Microsoft Teams. Goodbye.